Good afternoon and welcome to this epic series. We're looking at part 3 of our design any connection using robot and IDEA StatiCa. So where we investigate the general workflow that you'd follow through from robot into IDEA StatiCa using their Checkbot functionality. Please check out part 1 and part 2 if you haven't already. So in this session, we will be, or at least our final session, we'll be looking at the other complicated or complex connection in our model. We'll be looking at modeling, analyzing, and designing that connection. So that, without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Okay, so we're just back in our Checkbot quickly. I want to show you in part 2, we finished our part 2 connection or connection 2. So once you click on it, you can actually see that these checks have been run, and that is what your connection looks like, which is really very cool. And you can open up that connection again, and you can make some adjustments to it, and that will be recorded over here, which is absolutely epic. What we'll be looking at now, we'll be looking at this connection right in the corner here, and we just have to be mindful of this short bit of space we have here before we get this next member. And then of course we are going to work through some of the same things we did for our part 2 connection. So I'm going to click on part 3, and then I'm going to open it with IDEA StatiCa connection. So I'm just waiting for it to load quickly. It is loading on the other screen, and once it's open, I'll just pull it across into view. So I'm just waiting for it to load. All right, and here we go. Okay, so I'm going to pull in my project information. So I'm going to call this connection 03. I'm going to give it a number, whatever that number is. It can depend on your grids, etc. That would be me, and the description is complex connection 03. Okay, technically we're looking at 02, 01, etc., but that doesn't matter. This is just to differentiate between two. I'm going to hit save. And so I think actually what happens is once you run the check, maybe then the name updates. All right, but again, this saves within your Checkbot file, so you won't have a separate file just for this connection. Okay, so I'm going to untick these load effects so long, or all of these different load effects. I just want, I think, not 11. I want to check. Okay, but of course these forces won't be as high. So I'm just looking for quite a large column axial force. Okay, that's a good one. 118, 122. Okay, so I'm not actually, there's 124, 132. Okay, so I think I'm going to go for this one and turn the rest of them off. Okay. Right, so just bear with me as I turn them off quickly. Okay. All right, so we're going to start off with our cut operation again, as with part 2, just to extend that column a little bit. So again, it's going to be, our member is column 5. It's going to be cut by the top flange of beam 11. I'm going to click extend and make this perpendicular. And then the offset is going to be minus 20. Cool. Right, then I want an end plate on this side. So operation, I want an end plate again for beam 11. So this is for beam 11, and it's connected to column 5. All right, so there we go. I want to make this a bit less. I want that as 10, and that's all good and well. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. Dimensions, so to profile, symmetrical. To profile, come on, to profile, there we go. And that means we can extend the bottom as well. So I just want to make that 10 as well. Okay, and then here, I think we should just use a cleat again because we know that it worked earlier. So we can choose a cleat again. And this is for member B10, it's web, and it's connected to column 5. Okay, profile. So I want the same as before. That means because they can all be cut from the same member, because our brace is also an equal leg angle. That's 100 by 100 by 10. Okay, so cleat length 250. Okay, and I'm going to play around a bit with these bolts. So I think it was earlier, it was around minus, wait, hold on, 30, positive 30. There we go. No, that's too far out. We're going to have a problem on the edge there. So I'm going to make it 25. And then this can be 80, semicolon, minus 80, semicolon, 30, semicolon, minus 30. And let's see. Okay, that looks great. I'm quite happy with that. And then its location is both. So we want it on both sides. And now what we want to do is we want to add a plate for this brace over here. So I'm going to say operation. I'm going to go for my gusset. So if the brace wasn't here, we could actually have added, I think we can even add a haunch and attach the brace to the haunch. Okay, but that is for another time. Let us not jump the gun here, but that's definitely something we can look at. Alignment is going to be rear, and I'm going to increase its size to 250 and 250. Okay, the member is for beam 24. It is related to beam 11. And again, I must tick that, and it must relate to column 5. Okay, to change the alignment to front, there we go. Okay, and then again, the end plate is passing through there. I'm quite happy with this at the moment. I might change the gap just a little bit, change it to 25. I want this to be chamfered as well, and those chamfers to be 25, 25. Need to click on editor, and I'm going to edit or add a chamfer to that corner over there so that those plates don't interfere with each other. And that is it. That was quite quick. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start the analysis, and let's see how this goes. I just want to see, okay, this is my bearing member. It's all good and well. All right, so I'm going to run with the analysis, and then I'll be back with you again once it's finished running. And we are back, and everything ran normally, but we can see we are exceeding our limits by a massive margin. Our bolts are fine, but our welds and plates are a problem. I went to check again, and in this column, I can see that column, top flange, that's most likely that flange over there. If I put plates on, I can actually see it. I should be able to. Okay, yeah, there it gives me top flange. So if I rotate this, can I see it? I hope I can. I hope I can. Maybe that's top flange, maybe that's bottom flange. Okay, but the idea is that there's, well, I can very confidently think that this is probably most likely the problem flange. If we look at this one, we can also see the cleat is a problem, and the gusset, and then beam 24, which is this one over here. All right, so we're going to have to make some changes. So I'm going to go back to design. I'm going to increase the size of this gusset over here. So I'm going to go for my gusset, and I'm going to make this a 300 by 300. Okay, we see we've got a nice long weld there. I might even have to increase it to 350. Let's do 350 by 350. I'm going to increase the size of my welds as well. So I'm going to change this to 10, and I'm going to change these to 7mm welds. All right, that all seems good and well. The cleat seemed like it was a problem, but I actually want to run my analysis and just check, maybe, just maybe, this corrects a lot of these issues. I'm going to go to the end plate, and I will add some additional bolts. Okay, so we've got our top layers. So let's see if I change this one to minus 25. Okay, that's just above it. So I want to change that one. Let's do 50. Oh, my goodness. Okay, there we go. All right. So minus 90. Okay, there's that bolt there. Look at our bottom layer. Just want to see which direction this one goes. All right. And then that one will be minus 1.5 as well. Quite happy with the thickness. And I'm going to increase the welds to 6 mil. All right. And then I'm going to run the analysis again. And then we'll be back as soon as that's finished running. And we are back. And we can see that there's actually a significant improvement here. Right, but it still fails. So let's go to our check. I just want to see that again, beam 24 is a problem. So we'll have to extend, make that gusset even bigger and even add to the size of that weld. So that will definitely be one. And then again, the cleat and the gusset plate itself. So we actually might have to change the size of the cleat somewhat. Okay, might have to change the size of that cleat. So let's do that. So again, I want to change the size of this gusset, maybe even make it a bit thicker. All right, so I go to design. I'm going to start with my gusset. I'm going to make it 12 mils, or rather 14 mils thick. All right, that's 14 mils thick, and I'm going to increase its size even more. Okay, so there's more of a weld on there. That's great. And I don't want to. Maybe I can just increase the length of my cleat. Okay, go 300 and then space these out a bit better. Go for 100. All right, 100. And then we can go for 40 and 40. I'm hoping that's going to help a bit, actually. I'm going to change this to 22. I'm going to change that to 22, maybe even less. Okay, bring it in a little bit. Okay, and see if that actually makes a nice difference, because we didn't have to change a lot for that to happen. All right, so back to the analysis again, or let me rather save this firstly. And I'll check you as soon as the analysis has finished running. And we have liftoff. Look at that. I am so happy with that outcome. So we didn't have to change the size of the cleat. We merely made it a bit longer. We spaced our bolts out a bit better. We increased the size of our gusset and also the thickness. And so we can also increase the size to increase the length of this weld. We changed the weld size a little bit. And there we go. Isn't that flippin' cool? I love it when things come together like that. And yeah, that's it. So that is our part 3 connection, our connection 3 done and dusted. We can go to our check again. We can look through everything. We can generate our report as we did previously. So we can look at our results. Okay, I'm going to go for explanations. I'm going to generate my report quickly. We can just quickly scan through it. And then that will be the end of this series as well. So there's our beautiful report. All right, with all of our calculations. And as we go down, we eventually get that bill of materials. So there's drawings again, I think are epic. There we go. There's all of our drawings again. And I just love it. I think that is so cool. So, all right, I hope that you enjoyed this series. So that will be the end for this one. We'll probably use the same model in the future just to look at a few different things. But I really hope that you enjoyed it. Go check out part 1 and part 2 if you haven't already. Please like and subscribe. And then if you have any questions, pop them in the comments, or you can send me an email directly. So I hope that you have a fantastic afternoon further. And then I'll see you in future clips as well.